So one of the songs on Wants to Keep Close, Burden,
Yeah.
I know comes from a place of emotional isolation, and you kind of, I know you like camping a lot.
Yeah.
And
I do.
it's a very isolating experience, and especially because you're touring by yourself a lot of the times when you first started out. I don't know if you're still touring by yourself.
Still
So
touring.
yeah,
in
and
a
then
little car.
you'd camp a lot up and down the West Coast, get out, park the car, set up for the night. How has the dynamic of emotional isolation and camping kind of fit into your music and provided some of the inspiration behind Burden and even your musical process as a whole?
Yeah. It's funny, I always I have mixed feelings about touring, and I think a lot of it comes from the structure of what I do, and me being a solo artist and trying to keep a low overhead. I will travel by myself, and the shows I love. I generally, everybody has a bad show from time to time. You don't connect with people or for whatever reason.
And then other times,
But
some
other
guy
times
wants to pay for your
yeah,
set.
exactly. It's other times it's the best thing you could possibly imagine. But despite those bookends, the hardest part about it is sitting in a car for 8 hours by yourself every day. And basically going to a town that you've never been to and don't know anybody in, and have no connection to, and finding some sort of grounding element that will bring you in, other than the bar that you have to go play at for 4 hours that night or something like that. And so Burden definitely comes from that feeling, I guess, and trying to find someone to connect with about that. Camping, I just got back from like this little 6-week tour. I wasn't able to camp much, unfortunately, but just because scheduling and long drives, and camping works out well when I can like have a show and have a night off, and have a show and have a night off, because you want to try to enjoy it. You be out there in the nature and see what the country has to offer, I guess. And that for me is a reprieve, I guess. I don't feel so isolated once I'm out there.
Yeah.
Because you're busy.
Of course.
It's good.
And you've been to a bunch of different venues, all the way from, like the nicer ones where you have your own room backstage, and the other ones where you walk in and you're like, this smells like piss all over the floor. Like,
there's many highs and there's seems to be more lows.
Have you ever walked into a venue and you're just like, fuck, like maybe this was a mistake, I shouldn't be playing here?
I mean, geez, not all the time. There's, like I said, there can be charm. There can be many dives that are like really charming and have the best sort of sound, and just good people, and like it's not so much about the aesthetic of the establishment. It's just could be the night, could be any random reason,
Keep going.
that could I know. Yes.
Ring the bell. You gotta ring the bell.
Any reason, could ruin your night or make it the best thing in the world, I guess,
And I guess the smaller places, or the dives, whatever you want to call it, gives it definitely more of a personal, closer vibe, even though there aren't that many people there. It's like, well, you're looking those people right in the face.
Yeah.
There's not going to be as many because of the capacity. And
they want to be there, which is great. Like those shows can be the best shows just because you're connecting with a small group of people, and everyone's sharing that one moment with you.
So you're touring by yourself, you're booking shows, you have to package merch, all this stuff. When do you have time to make music? Because it seems like so much time is taken up by other stuff.
Yeah, that window is getting smaller and smaller, unfortunately. It's happily, there's people that want to help me out more, which is great, and so we're growing a team, or whatever you want to call it, which will hopefully, like, things will be delegated out, and I can actually focus on writing music again, because I'm always writing, but I will tell you, like, this record release that's coming out, at this point in the cycle, I would have, half the basis of 6 or 7 songs for the next record coming out. Like, I would be like writing, and I've had no time. So I feel very anxious about that. So.
And I understand your wife helps you out a lot too, right?
She does.
It's good to have that support system.
She's an amazing woman, and patient and driven, which is...
Shout out to Mrs. Bones.
Yeah. Love you, babe.
So your name,
Yeah.
the Bones of J.R. Jones, it has a very mysterious aesthetic, but it also leaves a lot of room for people to imagine and make things like what they want it, because when there's mystery there, people input their own ideas of what someone's persona is. Do you find a lot of people are
They do.
like not making up stuff, but
No, they connect dots, which is for me kind of the purpose, how ambiguous it is.
Yeah.
I feel the overall tone is accurate in what I'm trying to convey and almost create a narrative with it. But I love hearing people's kind of backstory for it.
Yeah,
And what they
you're
think
like, oh,
it
I
is.
didn't know that. Like, and I'm the guy who created it.
Yeah, there'll be people will send me photos of grave headstones with like J.R. Jones on it or things like that. Or
it's like, is this guy coming to play or is he coming to kill me? Like,
or is there? I had a conversation with a fella in Chicago a couple weeks back, where I guess there was like a Welsh philosopher, J.R. Jones, and he's like, "That's it, right? That's who you're referencing." And I'm like,
I guess
sure,
so. Yeah,
yeah.
you like tell people that add to the mythology of the Bones of J.R. Jones.
But yeah, there's not a real root to that other than my name John Robert. My dad used to call me J.R. growing up, so that was kind of that personal aspect of the name, I guess.
And then the Bones is kind of just like a twist on it, however you take it.
Exactly.
Do you consider it a completely different person between John Lindbergh and the Bones of J.R. Jones on stage? Like an alter ego, or is it more like...
I always really hesitate that kind of that storyline, I guess, only because it's definitely not an alter ego, because it's me. It's like I'm still playing the songs that I wrote. And there's not an overall thematic, exposition that's happening that is all about the Bones of J.R. Jones and this character. It is, for me, it's more of like it's just a pure, more, I would say, like primitive version of myself. That's up there.
So it's not really like a different person. It's more like this is how things would be in an ideal world. Like
exactly, or not even an ideal world. It's more,
or just like me on stage.
Exactly. Yeah. It's me shouting my deepest, most insecurities or passions or whatever it might be. So yeah, it's about exercising those moments, I guess.
Do you like being able to just like, because blues is so loud, it's like loud, and your style of playing is loud and it's beautiful at the same time. Is that a release for you in terms of like what we were talking before, like finding your identity on stage, like the most raw form? Does that all play into?
So great to feel that. I can't, like, on good nights, man. You play a loud kind of like, and the sound in the house is great, and everyone's just into it and feeling it. Like that is such, I can't even describe what that feels like.
Yeah. So to end off, what is your favorite place to watch a show in Brooklyn?
It's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore?
No. There used to be. There used to be a place called the Brooklyn Rod and Gun, and it was located down on Kent Avenue in Williamsburg, before Williamsburg was Williamsburg. And it wasn't a venue per se. It was actually an actual like hunting fishing club, and they had they would have like country nights, Texas swing nights or whatever it might be. And it was very simple, and that's what I loved about it. They had one condenser microphone, a long picnic table, some peanuts. And,
I gotta have peanuts. Peanuts are essential.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they didn't have. The cool thing about it is, so they didn't have a liquor license, or they couldn't sell alcohol, but because they were technically a private club,
they got around it.
They would sell temporary memberships, and that was the ticket to the show. So you'd spend $8.
Okay, I've been to places like that before.
You spend $8 to get in the door, and you get a PBR or 2 PBRs, and that was your ticket to the show as well. And then,
there you go.
Now that you're a member for the night, they can sell you beer.
Yeah.
Which is
What's up? What's up? So he's gonna finish the rest
Yeah, I
of
was
the
gonna
interview.
say there it is.
What was that place like? Was it kind of the smaller personal atmosphere you
Oh
were talking
yeah, I
about
mean
before? Like people right up in your
If
face.
there were 20 people there, you would be shoulder to shoulder. You know, like,
Yeah.
and they had a loft overhead, so people would be up in the loft looking down on you playing. And another great spot that is open that I would highly recommend people checking out is the Jalopy Theater
The Jalopy Theater.
over in Red Hook.
Okay.
Kind of go on.
Similar type of vibe.
Yeah,
Similar style.
it's much bigger, but it's still like kind of like a mom and pop establishment, and they bring in some amazing kind of artists, from all over the world,
Yeah.
which is pretty astounding. And it's got like little church pews and things like that, and a great stage. And
Have you ever played there before?
I haven't. I've seen a few shows there.
On the bucket list?
Yeah.